Howdy. Doing a little video here. Gonna be the introduction of a channel. Libertarian Trucker 18 here. Gonna talk to you a little bit about today the change that I'm making in my life. I'm going from being a cop to going to trucking school, becoming a truck driver. Going through Roadmaster. I've got pre-hired by Werner Enterprises. I heard about them through my brother-in-law who works for them. He's one of their company drivers. Seeing what kind of paycheck he brings home. I hear a lot of complaints, watching other videos of that. That's why I decided to start my own channel. I had a lot of questions myself. You see a lot of information out there, but some of it's either not accurate or completely biased or so on and so forth. So I decided I'd start a channel and maybe I could help somebody that had some of the same questions I do. So in this video I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I decided to make the move and how to get that set up. So I decided to make the move because my brother-in-law made the move from law enforcement as well. And people ask me that too. Why do all you cops leave and become truckers? Well, I tell you, $1,000 every 2 weeks is very hard to do anything with. It is. And I can say from his experience, $1,000 every week is a lot easier. And that is the motivation for me. Why I decided to make the move. Because that, and you get tired of seeing the same people, the same place every single day. You kind of gotta finally make the decision. You gotta move around. You gotta see the world. You know, I haven't seen much in my lifetime outside of Florida and Georgia and a couple other states. So I decided it's time. I need to go make that move. I need to make the change. I need to make the money. And I need to see the world. At least America. Now the process, they make it very easy for you. I put in my application with Werner. Werner contacted me through email and phone call and text message. They're very thorough. Make sure that they reach you the way that you're comfortable talking to them. I ended up calling them back because I don't like the other two modes. I spoke with a recruiter. She told me that, of course, I'm going to have to go truck driving school. And she said, I'll refer you out to our two schools, one in Fort Pierce and one in Tampa. I decided to pick the one in Tampa because the process was just a little bit easier. Fort Pierce, you have to make a trip to Fort Pierce and listen to their spiel and everything else. I didn't feel like doing that. Roadmaster called and they just said, here's what we can do. I said, well, give me a week to think about it and I'll decide to either start the process or tell you things and no things. But I decided after a week of thinking and pondering and praying to start the process. Really, that whole part took 2 days. I started that morning. They did their interview with me. They had me sign some consents to background checks. That all was done electronically through email. Interviewed me, like I said. We talked a little bit about why I want to become a trucker. Did a pre-application so they could submit to different companies, mainly Werner, who referred me to the school. Took down my previous employment history, asked me about passing a hair follicle drug test, if that would be a problem, all those type deals, which of course for me it's not. That could be a deal breaker for somebody else, but for me it's not. I don't do that. Background check was obviously no problem as well. So they do that, and then they send your information to your company that you referred you. For my case, it'd be Werner. Werner recruiter sent me an email that said, please call when I can. So I called the Werner recruiter. I sat down, did an interview with them, over the phone. They asked me about the drug test and the background check and that, and I said that's no problem with me. They had me pre-approved, pre-hired almost the same day. They said I was pre-approved that day. About 3 or 4 days later, they said you are officially hired, pre-hired with Werner. The school roadmaster called me. The next step with roadmaster is you don't have to, but they say you need to get your CLP, commercial learner's permit. I don't know about every state, but I know in Florida, here's how it goes. It's $6.25 plus a convenience fee and a county fee, depending on where you live. I did it in Okeechobee. There's no county fee, just a $2 card fee to use your card. So it was $8.25. You take 3 tests: air brakes, combination vehicles, and your general knowledge test. Roadmaster will send you links to some videos to watch, a CDL professor, I believe, and you can go down to the DMV and pick up the book or download it or print it off your home computer. I would advise that. It's like a couple hundred pages long, and you can just drive down the DMV in whatever county you're in and pick one up. Study it. I studied it. I kind of was thinking about making the move about a month before I actually pulled the trigger on it. So I've been studying it almost a month before I finally decided to go in and take my test. The next thing I had to do was my DOT physical, which was relatively simple. I'd say it's about $100 to do that. And the doctor was pretty straightforward with me. He told me, how the whole process works, what you do, what you get. You get a little sheet of paper that you need to carry around with you that says that you're certified to drive truck. They have restricted ones and they have regular ones. Regular ones 2 years, which is what I have, and they have restricted ones that are 3 months or a year, or however long they decide they need to see you back. And then you can take that into the DMV, and they will print you out a copy of your permit, which basically just says you can drive a CDL vehicle of your class, which would be Class A for a semi-truck, as long as there's a CDL licensed driver with you. If you don't do this, it's not a deal breaker for the school. They did explain it to me, kind of like you'll be a step ahead of everybody because everybody else will have to take that CLP test, and you can go out and start checking out the trucks while everybody else is doing that. So it's only $6.25. I figured it would be a great investment of my time. After that's done, they'll get with you about hotel and everything else. Oh, and the first day they also did the financing for it. Like they explained to me, since I'm getting pre-hired with the company's going to pick up the bill. But if you're just putting yourself through it, you can do like GI Bill, or you can finance it through a bank or that type deal. So the financing was done for me on the first day. They ask for references, mainly family, and they call all those as well to kind of get an idea of if your family's supportive of your decision or not. The next thing they do is they send you an email itinerary of the hotel that you'll be going to, how much that's going to cost on the overall loan per night. They're going to explain to you when you check into the hotel. They're going to ask you about whether you want to go home on weekends or not, or you want to stay at the hotel on the weekends, so on and so forth. They'll hashing out the final details. For me, the last step's going to be they charge, I think it's $40 for your background check that they do. I have to pay that and then show up to school, check into the hotel this coming Sunday, and show up with bells on, ready to learn. One question I had that nobody seemed to really answer in any other videos that I've seen about it is, did they provide transportation? And the answer to that is yes. They have a shuttle that comes and picks you up from the hotel and takes you to and from school every day. So if you don't have a ride, or you're like me and you only have one car for the family, you're okay. Just get dropped off, and from there on out, you're good to go. They'll get you where you need to be. You are responsible for your meals, the hotel, I can say for me it was La Quinta, and I know from staying there in the past and that they have a pretty decent breakfast, and then lunch and dinner you kind of just got to figure out, pack some lunch, take some things with you, banana sausages, ramen noodles, whatever. For me it's like I've got a family at home, so I'm not too worried about what I eat. It's mainly making sure that they're taken care of and they got stuff to eat. I don't care. I'll eat raviolis out of a can or something. Being in this profession and in the military, Coast Guard Auxiliary and so forth, I'm used to eating whatever I can scrounge up the dollar section, so that's no big deal for me. I'm hoping to kind of, with the channel, kind of document the journey of what it takes to become a truck driver, and also occupy some of my time on the road, because, you know, being a solo driver who hopes to do all 48 states is going to be kind of boring from time to time, so I'll have time to sit down and do some videos, update you, and show you some neat places that I'm going to and everything else. Also, as this thing says, I'm a libertarian. The name Libertarian Trucker 18. I am a libertarian, so political issues may be brought up from time to time as well as an interesting discussion point. Not all libertarians are the same, let's put it that way, and you'll, I'm sure, hear some of my political views in the future. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at libertariantrucker18@gmail.com. I can answer some of those questions that you might have about trucking, libertarianism, and even law enforcement questions. If you are wanting to get into that field, I can answer some of those questions as well. If you like the video, you like what I'm saying, you want to kind of watch it and see my next upcoming videos and where I go and what political topics I decide to discuss, hit that subscribe button, like the video, dislike the video, leave comments, let me know what I'm doing right or doing wrong. Be a hater, I don't care. Signing out.